Aloha, my name is Rose with Next Level Wellbeing Yoga, and today I'm describing the gentle yoga for meniscus recovery. So in this series, we're going to be concentrating on bringing the legs in through the low back into the breath. And so for that, we have a little series. So I'm going to set us up and then quickly demonstrate, and then you will do it on your own. So for our props today, we have our yoga mat, our yoga strap, a block, and then 3 blankets. The higher up the blankets go, the more they are opening up the diaphragm into the low back. Bringing our block to the wall, folding our blankets from a standard blanket fold in half, making this nice tall thin one, and then doing that with all 3, so that the standard blanket folds of a Mexican blanket, and then all of the fringes stacked, bringing it into half, so that it's just this nice folded edge, and goes right underneath the sacrum. So we have those. So to come into Viparita Karani, or legs up the wall, which is our first pose, we sit with our hips on the blankets so that our outer hip is parallel with the blanket folds that are facing towards the mat. We bring our arms behind us, roll our legs up the wall, coming onto elbows and then shoulders, lifting the hips onto the blanket so the sacrum is in the middle. Drop the pelvis down, lift the heels up to reset the pelvis, pressing through the elbows, relax, and release the front shoulders, release the arms and wrists, relax the face and neck, relax the toes, and then you'll set the timer to be here in Viparita Karani for 5 minutes, concentrating on your breath, feeling the organs relax to the spine, feeling the breath fill the rib cage, gently expanding into the shoulders, neck, vertebrae, softening the face and jaw and allowing the head to soften to the mat. Soften the upper back and shoulders. Relax the back of the head. And as this pose is bringing the legs into their sockets, setting the hip heads, opening up and balancing the SI joints, so the sacrum being balanced in the middle, opening up the SI joints to being balanced on the back plane. So relax into the groin, breathe into the low belly, soften the chest, neck, face. Belly breaths expand and relax into the pose. So being here for 5 minutes, relax the base of the toes. And when you're ready, rolling off to the side. Okay, so for our next pose, we bring our blankets and blocks to the side and get out our strap. We're going to do a long vertical stretch. So bringing our head onto the mat, lifting our upper back and resetting it, lifting the hips and resetting the hips. Reset each ankle, each arm, relax the face, take a breath, And now bringing the heels together, toes towards the ceiling, press the ball of the foot out, draw the toes back towards the face, press the heels towards the wall, extend the legs away from you while drawing the shins up, kneecaps up, front of the thighs up and into their sockets, soften the belly, extend and lengthen the spine, soften the neck, soften the back of the head, and inhale the arms overhead. Extend the fingers to the back wall. Drop the thumbs towards the floor and stack the fingers, thumb to pinky, above each other, softening the elbow while extending the arms out of their sockets. Draw the socket heads into place and soften the upper shoulder, top of the arm, inner elbow, top of the forearm, all the way through the thumb and fingertip, web of the thumb to the fingers. Extend heels away from you, fingertips away from you. Draw the shoulder blades down towards the hips. Draw the hips up into their sockets and soften the back gently to extend along the floor. Taking breaths into your armpits, softening the inner armpits. Extend up from the inner knee all the way to the groin, drawing that muscle all the way to the humerus, femur head, all the way into the femurs. And release. Okay, Urdhva Prasarita Padanasan. So these are going to be setting the psoas, which is in front of the spine, onto the spine using angles of the legs. So we have our 90, our 60, and our 30. In all positions, we're going to draw our shoulder blades up towards the ears, shoulder blades down towards the hips and towards the spine. Soften our backs gently flat onto the mat and extend the heels so that the backs of the legs are lengthened and softened in the knee, and then the front of the legs are sucked into the hip heads while drawing the feet towards the body, toes towards the body, balls of the feet towards the ceiling, heels towards the ceiling. Inhale and soften the front chest. So to start, because we want our back flat on the floor, you want to come up into 90, feel if it's flat, and if not, maybe take a little breath, extend, and come back up. So if you grab the strap, that can help in the 90 especially. This should be an easier position. So across the ball of the foot, making sure our shoulder heads are down onto the mat, and we're using the weight of our chest to draw the balls of the feet down with the strap while extending the balls of our feet from the inside towards the ceiling and toes back towards the face. Heels towards the ceiling. Draw the kneecaps up. Draw the tops of the thighs up and into socket. Okay, so softening the back of the knees. So it's important to have the low back flat so the psoas is being properly integrated. Otherwise, we're just really avoiding the stretch. Okay, or the integration, or both. And so the breath coming down into the diaphragm is blending with that tissue of the psoas. So this is the legs coming into the breath. So then about 30 seconds here, so if it's helpful to draw the knees to the chest and come back up, that can be something to soften there, just so that you're doing it for about 30 seconds, concentrating on getting the back flat and the front belly drawn in to the spine. Next we have 60. So drawing our psoas down into the spine and then extending the balls of the feet out to the 60-degree angle. And then, if we need to work into it, we can do the pumps. And then we can also grab the strap. So the strap allows us to push and resist at the same time. So that provides sturdiness into the joint for us to integrate our tissues with our breath. So just making sure that the low back stays flat. And then doing 30 seconds here, softening the tops of the shoulders, and then 30. So it's the same thing. This one can be the most challenging to get our low back flat if we sit often. Okay, so there are the pumps. There is the strap, making sure the back is nice and flat. Not pressing it super flat, but allowing it to rest flat, no strain. So there's pumps with the strap that can help with that low angle. And then, yes, eventually, so breathing into the ribs, really expanding the diaphragm into the top of the psoas, while allowing the front of the chest to soften, the back of the armpits to soften. Pressing the hands gently into the floor, elbows and shoulders gently into the floor while softening the neck and face. And that helps to balance the hips. Okay, so next we have Dandasana. So Dandasana is going to be the staff pose. And so with the fingertips behind the hips, press the front of the arms up to open the chest, extending the shoulder heads up, drawing the shoulder blades towards the spine, softening the armpits in the back. Lift the arms, soften the tailbone down while extending the back. Breathe into the crown to extend the crown towards the ceiling. Soften the face. So this is arms behind. Taking nice deep breaths into softening the inner armpits. And then lifted. So for lifted, we get our strap and bring it so that the chest is the width of the circle. And so with that, we draw each sit bone back to a 45-degree angle, engage our pelvic floor, draw our pelvic floor up into our dantian, our lower dantian, just below the navel. Bring the strap onto the mid forearm, and as you press the legs firmly and evenly into the mat, inhale from the pelvic floor up through the fingertips and extend the fingertips while drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Breathing fully into the ribs, softening the face, softening the belly, drop the tailbone, soften the backs of the knees, press the heels down, press the thighs down. Inhale into the diaphragm, lengthen through the fingertips, drop the shoulder blades. And then next we have Ardha Navasana, or Paripurna Navasana. Paripurna Navasana is boat pose. So we will come from our Dandasana, got the hips coming back, rock back onto the sit bones, come up onto our fingertips with gently bent elbows, open the chest by pressing the shoulder blades towards the spine and into the ribs. Engage our psoas now from the breath down into the legs, drawing our legs into our pelvic floor, and with the inhale, extend the legs and draw the arms out in front. Draw the dantian, the lower energy center, 2 inches below the belly button to the spine, and hold. Here we're breathing into our strength with the lift and our softness in the back body to embrace the pose upwards without causing tension. So if you need to, you can again come into the little pumps, like bending the knees, softening into the angles so that you can get the psoas balanced with the belly muscles. But eventually you want to come into the rock back and engage and hold. And then for the Ardha Navasana, then we're going to extend out, come into low boat pose. And this one is just more along our 30-degree angle line of integrating the psoas into the breath. Balls of the feet out, hands behind the head, and inhale, come up, come into a long vertical stretch, which is again drawing the heels away from the body, fingertips away, shoulder blades down toward the hips, top of the hips up into their sockets. Drop the tailbone, soften the head, flatten the spine gently, extend and relax into the breath, allowing the shoulders to balance, the hips to balance. And then coming into Shavasana for 5 minutes. In Shavasana, just softening the eyelids, soften the top of the head, soften the forehead, soften the jaw, the throat. Soften the shoulders, allow the floor to support you. Breathe into all the ribs, softening along the spine. Soften the belly, soften the hips, soften the thighs, knees, soften the calves, ankles, feet, and toes. And then relax into the breath behind the knees, softening the back of the knees, feeling the space in between the ligaments, the tissues, the blood. What does all of that feel like? And then softening all the angles around the knees, softening all the angles around the hips, softening all the angles around the ankles. Soften the feet again, and then come back to the knee. How does the top of the knee feel? Soften the tops of the knees, reset as necessary. Soften on the outsides, the insides. Relax the breath. The body is a bounce around the breath, so allow the breath to flow smoothly in and out through every joint, every structure, smoothly, evenly. And that is the overview. So hopefully you find that helpful if you go over the short version a few times and then eventually get into just doing it on your own. Wonderful. Namaste.